Would I be the asshole for getting a little girl's father banned from our gym? Our 27 female martial arts school recently started offering a new kids class, right before mine. Mostly kids between the ages of 6 to 12, all of them boys except from one little girl. The parents usually hang around the gym waiting for the kids' class to end. The class is about an hour long, with a 15-minute break between the kids' class and ours. So there is an overlap in the locker rooms, with kids changing out of their gear and adults changing into theirs. The little girl is probably around 7 to 8 and is accompanied by her father. The problem is, once their class is over, the father walks into the women's locker rooms to help his daughter change. Obviously, this makes everyone who changes in the locker room very uncomfortable. He just opens the door and comes waltzing in, not bothering to wait until the locker rooms are empty. As a result, most of the girls attending my class opt to come to the class late, since then we can change in peace. When I confronted him, he said that his daughter needs his assistance and she would feel unsafe by herself in there. Since he wouldn't stop coming in, I talked to our coach. He said that he would talk to the father, and if we see him again in the women's locker rooms he will get banned from our gym. Yesterday I went to the gym and lo and behold, the father is in our locker room. Would I be the asshole if I told my coach? My main concern is the little girl, as I don't want her to stop coming because her father is acting weird. And #X200B. Update. Hey everybody, this really blew up. Some clarifications. When confronted by me, the father offered no explanations, but hey, why should he tell me, a stranger, if his daughter needs any extra assistance? I am just a stranger. But when confronted by the coach, he also offered no further explanation besides his original stance, and this is why the coach offered him an ultimatum. This is what striked as weird and off-putting. We'll talk to the coach tomorrow. The girl seems to be quite happy with the classes, playing along with the other kids, so I will stress if a viable solution could be found that would keep the girl in our gym but the father out of our lockers, because a lot of women are angry with him. Not the asshole. And 7-8-year-old girl is perfectly capable of changing herself. The dad walking into a women's locker room with other girls and women changing in the is wholly inappropriate. Tell him and get him banned ASAP. Not the asshole, as others have said, physically she can change by herself. If she feels unsafe, then dad needs to raise it with the gym and see if there is a unisex bathroom or something similar that is available to utilize for this purpose. Dad is being creepy and weird and making a lot of people feel uncomfortable. Dad sounds like a creep. Basically he has a few other options. 1. Have his daughter change in the men's locker room. People there are probably not going to mind as much. 2. Have his daughter change at home. 3. Get the mother or an aunt or someone to come along and help her get dressed. 4. Except that the girl is 7 or 8, probably has to get changed by herself in gym class at school as well, so she'll probably manage just fine on her own. Tell her he'll be right outside and wait outside like a decent human being. Not the asshole at all. This is weird indeed. I get that he feels the need to accompany her, but his blatant disregard for making the others uncomfortable is troubling. If his daughter was on her own and some random grown man waltzed into where she's changing, would he be cool with it? What does this guy do when she needs to use a public bathroom? Other women could look out for the little girl, if that's an issue. The fact that he doesn't wait until others are done, or even announce himself. He didn't change his behavior after being confronted. I don't know. This seems either entitled or straight up creepy. I'd talk to the coach. Like, was he warned that he'd be banned if he did it again? If so, he's asking for it. Not the asshole. A 7y. Oh, kid can easily change by themselves. That man is just using her daughter as a reason to being a pervert. Not the asshole. A 7-year-old can change by herself, the dad just wants to get an eyeful of the adult ladies. Not the asshole. Tell the manager ASAP, this is significant other not okay. First, a 7-year-old is 100% able to change herself. Second, if she isn't, he can 100% wait for the locker room to be empty. Third, this kind of behavior borders on sexual harassment, and is creepy at best. Tell your manager. Not the asshole. Tell the coach. I have a 6-year-old son, he can change his clothes alone, would 100% come out with pants backwards and this shirt inside out, but it would be done. I would take him to the women's, I'm mum, but his father would go into the men's, even with a daughter, should they need help. At 6 I don't know how I feel letting them go into an open change room alone, mostly in case they annoyed anyone, or anyone else felt uncomfortable. I feel like Dad is just trying to cop an eyeful. Surely there is a stall somewhere the little girl could change in. Not the asshole, he knows what he's doing and he should explain to his daughter why he can't go in there. Creeps will often use children as decoys. I had a guy upskirt me in a toy store. He had a toddler with him that he used to seem like he belonged. Would tell the kid, "Come look at this toy down here," where he would just so happen to have to squat right behind a woman wearing a dress. My 3-year-old dresses herself. This guy is helping his 7-year-old dress. This is creepy on numerous levels. Like, if she is developmentally delayed, understand him helping her, but that still doesn't give him the okay to walk in on other girls and women changing. NTA. Report his ass. This doesn't sound right at all. Not the asshole. A girl that age should be able to change without help. And if she really does need help, there would be other options, changing at home or in the car. Not the asshole. You and coach have told him that this is not okay behavior and he's still doing it. Either he waits with his daughter when the changers is empty or she changes at home. If he gets banned, that's 100% on him. I don't normally suggest this because my dad has accessibility issues, but is there not an accessible changing room toilet they could use? Because it'd just be them two in there so he can help his daughter and it protects the privacy of the other women in the gym. I get him not wanting to use the men's changing room with her, but it's so inappropriate for him to go in the men's changing room. It's a shitty situation. As someone who grew up with a only dad, who would have to walk into women's restrooms because there aren't any baby changing tables in the men's room, or would genuinely come with us to the changing rooms because we were little girls and he was worried we'd get kidnapped alone. Ask yourself this: if it were a mom, would it be overreaching? If a mom were insisting on being there with her 7-year-old, would you report it to the gym? If so, then do it. If not, maybe adjust your immediate assumption that men are always being creepy. And try to talk to him about it again, but say, "Sir, your presence here is making me uncomfortable. I understand why you would be uncomfortable, I just think it is hard for dads to navigate these things sometimes." Not the asshole. He's just worried about predators in the changing room because, surprise, he's one himself. I don't think that you would be in this situation. The way I see it is an excuse from him. I mean, can't he just wait a little or at least ask to go in and not just barge in? You and the privacy of the others is important, especially in the changing room. Not the asshole. I practice martial arts too, and I saw kids her age changing without problems, and I never saw a parent enter in neither locker to help their kids. The unique struggle usually are the shoes lace, and they do that outside the locker, so no problem so far. Moreover, if I saw a girl struggling to get changed, I'd offer my help, and I believe everyone would do the same. It's already bad that he enters without asking permission, but it's even worse that it directly ignores your feelings about it. It makes me suspect he has hidden reasons to enter there. If you don't want to tell to your coach, even if I would say it because the father has 2 warnings already, try to ask to the father to enter to the locker when you finish change to your class. NTA, I get it, but he needs to get her changed somewhere else. She's 7 to 8, can't she get dressed in the men's? Not the asshole, and it saddens me to see how many women, myself included, will tolerate creepiness and bad behavior from men out of fear of being an asshole or overreacting. Men can't be in a women's locker and that's it. If they want the girl to keep attending and the father is adamant about helping her, maybe they should find them a private room. I have the feeling that the guy won't be so eager to help then. Nope. Not the asshole. Get him banned. If she was like 4, maybe I could understand, but a 7 to 8-year-old should be capable of dressing herself by then. He clearly is using her as an excuse cause he wants to go into the ladies' changing room and be a creep. Not the asshole. My dad used to take me swimming as a kid. He'd drop me by the door and meet me at the other door. The first few times he spoke to a member of staff to ask if they could show me where everything is. When he takes my younger sister to gymnastics, she would come already in uniform. Basically, there are options. Even if they could use the disabled toilet quickly. I completely understand your reluctance because it would be sad if this girl had to stop. But maybe a better solution could be found for them. And if he does continue, that's on him, not you. Not the asshole, and tell the coach. Unfortunately, he is banking on using his daughter as a shield to protect his weird behavior. Don't let him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. A 7-year-old can change themselves just fine and he's making all the women there uncomfortable by just barging in. Not the asshole. He's clearly the asshole since he's so full of shit. 8-year-old can change themselves without assistance. He's just perving. Not the asshole. He can take her to the disabled toilets or baby changing and help her get dressed in there, but at that age she really shouldn't need help with that unless she has some sort of other issue. Dad is a massive creep. It's weird that he seems too entitled and blasé about it, and he is using his daughter as an excuse. Don't let him. Not the asshole. There is no excuse for him to invite himself into the women's locker room. I highly doubt a 7/8-year-old needs help changing. If she truly did, he can take her to the bathroom to change. Or, better yet, he can bring her to the class already in her gear, and let her change into regular clothes once she gets home after. The father is being deliberately predatory. If he were truly so oblivious as to think it's okay for him to go into the changing room, he would have the common sense to at least knock and announce a man is about to enter. Especially after you've told him that it isn't okay and makes everyone else uncomfortable. Info. As someone who came from a family of taller kids and was often mistaken for being a couple years older than I actually was, as well as having a friend who had it even worse, at 4 years old they frequently got mistaken for 10. Are you absolutely sure this kid is 7/8? Being tall does not make you more coordinated. If anything, being tall too fast makes you less coordinated. Does she have a disability that affects her executive functioning ability, the ability to make decisions, or does she get very easily distracted? Not the asshole. He's using his daughter as an excuse. Normal people would ask if there is a family changing room or wait until it's empty. Not the asshole. I feel bad for the daughter, but she would not only be able to change herself. But would it not make more sense for the man to take his daughter into the men's room? That's what most fathers do with their young children. Not waltz into the opposite sex's changing room. What a pervert. Info. Is there no family changing room or family bathroom at your gym? Not the asshole. You need to tell your coach right now. There is literally no reason at all he should be going into the girls' locker room. If his daughter is uncomfortable, she can change at home. And you should recommend the coach contact the girl's mother and let her know what's going on, because that is completely inappropriate behavior. Not the asshole. Report him. That's just weird. I am an assistant martial arts instructor and no way would myself or the main instructor allow this. Not the asshole, clearly. Report him. WIBTA. The kid is old enough to change on her own. If she or her dad doesn't want to, then he can take her home to change, shower there. Let her venture back into the ladies' room after practice on her own time terms. He's being unreasonable and it's not okay. Not the asshole. Used to teach martial arts myself, would never accept behavior like that, and 7-plus-year-old can change clothes alone. Not the asshole. Growing up all over the world, at water parks, swimming pools, gyms, anywhere with segregated toilets and changing rooms, if I was with my dad and old enough to change with minimal assistance, I'd be in the women's room. My dad, say we were at the pool, would either be at the pool entrance, back to it for privacy, and if I was taking forever, he'd call over his shoulder to see if I was okay, not too loudly or rudely, more just a, all okay in there. Same if we were changing to leave. He'd crack open the door enough to call through, and if I did require help, I'd wrap a towel coat clothes around me and go out to him. It wasn't hard to do, but never did he come into the women's changing rooms. Coached hockey for years. With considerably more equipment and difficulty putting on said equipment, there is no reason for an 8-year-old to need daddy to come into a female locker. Quite honestly, why does an 8-year-old need to change after class in an environment where that has been made clear as awkward? Most kids that age don't even sweat enough to need to change, just go home. Report this perv. Not the asshole. You said it yourself, he deliberately comes waltzing into the locker room while everyone is changing instead of waiting to see that the room is clear or giving everyone a chance to cover up before coming in. This has nothing to do with helping his child and has everything to do with stomping boundaries. He is using his daughter as a ruse to gain access. He was told previously that he'd be banned if he came back in, and he immediately was defiant and did it again. Get him banned ASAP. Not the asshole. She's old enough to change herself, he is a creep. Not the asshole. Geez. He has a ton of solutions besides coming in the dressing room, and if his attitude is just a cheerful disregard for the feelings of women and girls in the dressing room, then that is the issue here. He sounds super creepy and needs to be made aware of that. Not the asshole. I own a dojo. That would never fly with me. Absolutely, that child is capable to change alone, and if he's worried she can get dressed in the car. Yes, tell on him. They can find another dojo, but the owner is setting him, herself up for some serious liability if it doesn't end immediately. Not the asshole, but the gym dojo might be. My daughter is the same age, and pre-COVID was doing judo. Before she left home she'd put on bike shorts, the shorts she wears under shirts and dresses, her rash guard shirt, and if it was cold, pants over that. This way when she got to the dojo she could do all her changing outside the locker room. When she was younger and on the occasional times she needed a changing room, he'd help her untie her pants and she'd go change. This was at 3/4. But the gym dojo should really think about adding a family changing area for reasons like this. Toy avoid this. So maybe see if they can do something. My kiddo's first dojo's changing areas were right off the mat and had curtains, room enough for a parent and child. Not the asshole, he can stand outside the changing room door. My sisters and I all had swim lessons where we were the only female children, but there were adult swim classes before and after our lessons. Dad would stay and watch us, and at the end of the lessons he'd help us gather our stuff, walk us to the changing rooms. The pool was enclosed in a big building, so the changing rooms were down a couple of long hallways, and wait outside until we changed or we called for him. And actually my mom did the same thing. There were 4 of us ranging from 5 to 11. The father has no reason to be in this changing room. I think you have a very good case for sexual harassment here. Not the asshole. MZ daughter has been attending dancing classes for several years, from 4 to now almost 7. The other girls with fathers changed by themselves, or, if they needed help, came out to ask the father. No man has ever entered the changing room, period. Not appropriate. She can change elsewhere. This is ridiculous. I got a family banned because a woman kept bringing her 12 and 13-year-old sons into the women's locker room for similar reasons. The kids were getting an eye full and it was very obvious to everyone except mom. In your case, he knows exactly what he's doing. I feel bad for that little girl. Her pervy dad is using her to ogle women and girls. Gross. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He needs to adhere to gym policy, and if he refuses, he's out. Simple. You wouldn't be an asshole for that. But I don't think Dad's necessarily a creep. My dad and I went swimming every weekend when I was at that age, and I started using women's lockers around then. Sometimes I forgot half my stuff or needed help, so he needed to come into women's. I wouldn't have let a female stranger help me over my dad, so it was the only solution. Can't you talk to him and his daughter and agree on a policy that daughter can call her dad in if she needs him? Or is the men's locker an option? I may have missed it, but nowhere did I see any detail that the father is actually acting weird. Is he actually coming in, helping his daughter change, and then leaving, or is he just standing there staring, saying shitting things, etc.? What is he actually doing that is wrong? Not the asshole. The guy is doing it to perv. He has plenty of options that don't involve him hanging out in the women's change room.